Countryfile at Christmas, we're in the sleepy Warwickshire village of Clifford Chambers. School children are rehearsing for their nativity play, shepherds are watching their flocks, and there's excitement in the air.
Well, you can't beat all of that Christmassy stuff, but what we're really hankering after is a traditional village Christmas where the whole community gets together to celebrate. So that's just what we're going to do.
Invitations have been sent to every house in the parish, school children have been recruited, and there's a Christmas tree in the local woods with our name on it for the village green.
It's a time of giving and sharing, so we've decided to offer our guests a heartwarming Christmas taster. I'll be making a traditional figgy pudding.
Jules has got his four-legged friends in mind for our celebration. No Christmas gathering would be complete without a donkey or two.
I'd like to think that you've got them how you want them. My sense is that they've got you where they want you.
Probably. And whilst we're getting the village festivities organised, John is on the hunt for some traditional gifts.
The most famous Christmas gifts of all, gold, frankincense and myrrh, aren't all that easy to come across here in Warwickshire. So my task is to find some local alternatives. For Adam, Christmas is a reminder of the shepherds watching over their flocks. Still a job that attracts the young.
Connor here wants to start his very own flock of sheep, so we'll be looking at what is the perfect breed for him.
Miles south of Stratford-upon-Avon, the village of Clifford Chambers claims to be the birthplace of William Shakespeare. Apparently his mother was escaping the plague which was rife in Stratford at the time. This was the house in which locals say the bard was born. Historical evidence is scant, but whether or not Shakespeare breathed his first here, the village of Clifford Chambers does seem like a pretty good place to get the measure of modern rural life.
In Shakespeare's time, this village would have had more of a feudal setup with the manor house, the church and workers' cottages, where people's lives revolved around the village. But in the 21st century, is that sense of community here still strong?
Martin Gorick has been the vicar of the local parish for 10 years.
Hi Martin.
Yeah, really nice
Good
to
to meet you.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Clifford.
So is this beautiful church here, does this still provide a focal point for community life even nowadays?
It is. I mean, like a lot of rural villages, a lot of communal places have been lost. You know, the shop's gone.
Yeah.
The local school has gone in Clifford. There's still a pub, I'm glad to say, though that's disappearing in a lot of villages.
You must see quite a lot of rural life. You work in other parishes. Do you get a sense that today there's a thirst for people wanting to come together in their community that they just don't get anymore?
Nowadays, a lot of the natural points of contact have been lost, particularly in villages. You know, you're not gathering in the fields harvesting crops altogether. People are tending to be sitting in front of computers, sending emails and working from home or going off to the office, you know, in another town, coming back to the village. But we've noticed, I have to say, a real desire to come together, particularly at festival times, harvest, Christmas, Easter. Numbers have gone up and up, actually, not just here but across the country at those times. And is this because people actually need one another?
Could well be. So what do you think then of our Christmas get-together here?
Oh, I think it's a great idea. We're delighted to welcome you here. It's a really lovely village. And you're going to make it extra special.
Oh, fantastic. There'll be a few surprises.
Okay.
And we'll have a sing-song.
I'm looking forward to the sing-song, I think.
Right, we'll see you then.
Anyway, look forward to it.
Cheers.
Bye.
So that's the vicar on board. Now for the villagers. 8-year-old Maurice Woodfield has lived in Clifford Chambers all his life. And when he was a boy, Christmas here was the most wonderful time of year.
Christmas started here at about October. What happened, the head mistress, Mrs. Dodd, Mrs. Dodd rather, not Mrs. Dodd,
Right.
she had to compile a list of what you would like off the Christmas tree, which was organised by the Clifford Manor, which was Mrs. Ricker and Mrs. Rees-Mogg. There was no expense spared. You weren't restricted to what you could have off the Christmas tree. Well, as a
So what did you ask for then?
I had, first time I had a transit, lovely transit, a Hornby transit. And these presents were given to us just after Christmas at the Christmas party given by Mrs. Rees-Mogg.
You must have
In the
loved
village
that
of-
family, though. I mean, there must have been, you know.
Oh, they were fantastic. It was a well-run village, and in those days, nobody locked the doors. You just went and come, and we had a lovely time at Christmas.
And what's Christmas like these days here?
It's not a community affair like it used to be, and I don't think these things will ever come back. Yeah, it's more now as individuals. Each household does their own thing.
Well, we're going to have a go this afternoon.
You're going to have a go at
creating this party once more.
Oh,
Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Yeah, thanks ever so much for doing it.
Oh, no, it's all right. We've got a couple of donkeys coming.
A couple of donkeys.
Yeah.
Am I one of them?
Little donkey on a dusty road.
These children are from the Willows Primary School in Stratford. They'll be singing some traditional Christmas carols to guide us through the programme.
And right now, just like their classmates, children across the country are dressing up as Mary, Joseph, the shepherds, three kings and innkeepers to tell the story of the birth of Jesus. And as everybody knows, to complete the scene you need a stable and a donkey. But here in Warwickshire, they've got them in miniature. Standing tall at a maximum of 32 inches, these mini donkeys originate from Sardinia, where they were used for carrying heavy loads. Here in the UK, there are around 300 of them altogether. Miniature donkey fanatics Julie and Robin Boyce own 12.
I've never seen a miniature donkey before.
Have you not? Well, this is Sparkle.
Hello, Sparkle. Is she fully grown?
She's fully grown. She's 9 years old.
Hello. I mean, I can see why they're so appealing, but what makes them so special to you?
They're so gentle. They're so willing, and I just love donkeys. You know, from the word go, when I had my first donkey all those years ago, I just adore donkeys. A standard donkey, sort of nearly 40 years ago, was my first one.
Yeah.
And then I don't know whether you move up to miniatures or down to miniatures.
Who have we got over here with Robin?
This is Red.
Bring him over, Robin. Let's have a look. This is Red.
That's right, yes.
Now, I gather that donkeys brought you two together.
Well, this is true. I moved in here and I got a little paddock, and the girl from over the road came over one day and said, I've got a donkey, can I keep it in your paddock?
This was the girl from over the road?
Girl.
And that was what? How long ago?
30 odd years ago.
And here we are with a pack of miniature donkeys, and you're still together.
Little did you know there'd be a herd.
Keeping these little asses in top form takes a lot of donkey work, but for Julie, it's a comfort and joy. Now, it's probably worth pointing out, Julie, that this regime, this morning groom, is something that happens every day of the year.
Every day.
Would you say they were spoiled?
No, I would say they were just looked after properly.
I have to say, they are the best kept donkeys I've ever come across.
I come up here, I brush, I trim, I bath, I train, and I can spend several hours a day, and the time just zooms by because I just love it.
I'd like to think that you've got them how you want them. My sense is that they've got you where they want you.
Probably.
These little fellas.
In the Christmas story, gold, frankincense and myrrh were taken to Bethlehem from the east. Well, I'm in the middle of England, so not a lot of chance of finding them here. I think a little imagination is going to be needed in our search for the next best things to take to our village festivities. Let's start with myrrh, an exotic tree resin with a very distinctive flavour. Fergus Drennan is a forager and at Brandon Nature Reserve near Coventry. He thinks he can find exactly what I need. Well, Fergus, I'm looking for something here in the countryside that resembles myrrh. Any ideas?
Actually, I have a really good idea, but we're going to have to search for it.
All right. What have you found there?
Here's the myrrh-like plant. The clue is in the name. Samurnium olisatrum. Samurnium.
And what do we call it in English?
Alexander's. It was a very popular vegetable with the Romans who introduced it. And the myrrh-like kind of aromas and smells are kind of in the leaf.
So you're supposed to smell it or taste it?
It's not like our first burnt toast one at all.
No, well, I think we can say that we got our very own sherry incense.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's...
But the problem these days, I think, especially around Christmas, people are expecting an incense that smells a bit more Christmassy.
I would agree entirely.
But there's nothing quite like the smell of pine at Christmas, is there?
No, it's absolutely wonderful. When you bring the tree in the house, it's just all that smell from outside comes in.
Andy and I have come to a Warwickshire Christmas tree farm south of Birmingham to continue our search for a festive fragrance. We're not sure what to expect, so we're getting a bit of insider knowledge. You must be Jeff.
Hi, morning.
Hello. Good to see you.
Morning,
This is Andy.
Morning, Andy.
Morning, Jeff.
How many Christmas trees have you got here then?
Oh, more than 1 million.
We should have no difficulty in finding a bit of sap then, should we? Because we're looking for sap to make incense, Christmas incense.
Yes, it's rather unusual, but yes, we can find that.
And it turns out there's plenty of it around. What do you think of that, Andy? Is that suitable?
Just perfect for what we're looking for, isn't it?
Took you a knife?
I most certainly have. Just like the little tears we want.
You've got high expectations of this, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, off straight away.
Yeah, it's it should be full of volatile oil, so it should really go quite quickly.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
I think it's definitely the best we've come across yet.
Certainly. What do you reckon, Jeff?
How are we going to capture the smell to bottle it? So we can sell it.
Because it's a winner, isn't it?
We need to capture it somewhere.
In my tin.
Yes, because we've got quite a bit spare, haven't we, John?
Yeah. It's going to be a hit.
That's just beautiful.
Yeah. Just one more job before I head off. It seems a shame to leave a forest full of Christmas trees without one for our village festivity. Well, that's our tree sorted, and 2 of my gifts. I've still got to find the 3rd, though, and that is gold, somewhere naturally here in Warwickshire. And I'm off in search of that now.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Along with Christmas trees and goodwill to all, another essential ingredient at Christmas is food. It's definitely a big deal to me.
Good tidings we bring.
I'm walking in the spectacular grounds of Charlcote Park, one of Warwickshire's great Tudor estates. And where better to discover the delights of a pudding which became popular during the time of Shakespeare.
I'm talking, of course, about figgy pudding.
Oh, bring us a figgy pudding. Oh, bring us a...
Legend has it that a young William Shakespeare was caught poaching in the grounds of Charlcote Park, and it was soon afterwards that he left Stratford to seek his fame and fortune in London. Food historian Gerard Baker has come to Charlcote to make us a traditional Tudor-style figgy pudding. Let's hope he's come by his produce legally.
Hi, Gerard.
Hello, Ellie. How are you?
I'm well. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, we've got some tremendous festive treats for you.
Excellent.
And I wondered if I can give you a little job whilst we chat.
Good for it.
Would you mind chopping up these figs with the scissors there?
Sure thing.
And then I'm going to prep some suet.
So what's the history of figgy pudding then?
Figgy pudding was one of many sweet, savoury mixes that has a timeline that goes back before Shakespeare. Figs, along with other dried fruit, would have been used in medieval cookery to sweeten, because of course sugar was so scarce.
Yeah, when you talk about savoury and sweet, you're grating suet there. That's definitely savoury.
That's definitely savoury. Although the sweet and savoury weren't really distinguished greatly in the course of the meals in the way that they are today. The Tudors started that tradition because they were such fans of sugar. So they actually had a sweet course at the end of the meal, whereas prior to that, animal fat was often mixed in with grain and pulses in porridges, along with dried fruits and spices. And those wet, sloppy porridge mixtures from the Middle Ages evolved into the puddings that we have today.
Right, figs done.
Figs done.
Suet done.
So, suet done.
Excellent. What's next?
What's next is breadcrumbs. So what I'm going to do is cut the end off that square loaf and just ask you to pull out the crumb from that. And the easiest way to do it is just to literally pull the crumb out the centre and tear it into the figs.
Right.